All right, good morning, everybody. YouTube says that I'm live, so hopefully it will catch up with me here in just a second. Want to say good morning to everybody here in the chat. Rune, Dana, thank you all for turning on the lights. Anthony, good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. Night Owl, good morning to you, sir. Mika Wolf, who else do we have? Brian Field, good morning. Alrighty, stream is good. Awesome. So, good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hopefully, everybody here in the States recovered from having a long weekend last weekend. Well, not really recovered from the long weekend, recovered from having to go back to work for 5 days in a row. They always say the first 5 days after the weekend are always the hardest, and I tend to agree with that sentiment. Unfortunately, the weekend's only 2 days. I think I don't want to see us go to a 4-day work week, although I've had that in the past and it was wonderful. But I think we just need an extra day between Sunday and Monday. I think that would be good. But anyway, let's see. Ronald, good morning. So, I'm glad everybody's here. I did not break a toe, Dana. Didn't stub my toes. We're going to get into a lot today, and I've actually got a lot of stuff to look at. So, I know y'all be interested in that. And I'll just kind of get some of this ready over here. Just a little bit somewhat organized. But yes, today we are going to talk about Schlage electronic deadbolts. These things. We're going to talk about electronic deadbolts in general, but the Schlage ones are the ones that I feel comfortable talking about because that's really all we do. Out of my shop, the shop I work at, we really only do Schlage electronic deadbolts. If a customer specifically orders a quick set electronic deadbolt or a Yale, don't buy Yale, people. I mean, if it's Yale from like 50 years ago, then that's good stuff. But a Yale from the last 10 or 15 years, nah. Please don't. The fastest way to get a locksmith cussing is calling them up and saying, yes, hi, I had this Yale lock put on my door about 5 years ago. The locksmith might not say it out loud, but they're going to start cussing. Anyway, but yes, we're going to look at Schlage stuff. And I've got some visual aids to help with that. So hopefully that'll be a treat. Let's see here. Brian had a rough, busy week. Yeah. I mean, this week wasn't too bad. We were busy as all get out. Everything from dropping a door to not dropping it as in dropping it and breaking it, but taking the door off the frame to fix a pivot on there. I had class on Tuesday and Wednesday morning to look at Salto access control, which for those of you who do access control, I would look into Salto. And if you've never heard of it, just hit me up either by email or Twitter message. Salto's pretty cool. One day I will maybe manage to bring some Salto stuff in here or arrange for a demonstration to show you guys kind of how Salto works, but it's really, really good access control stuff. Really simple to install. You don't have to run a lot of wires. Don't have to run any wires to the door. And it works pretty well from what I've seen. Let's see. Secure Tech, good morning. I think I said good morning. Alpha Centauri, guten Tag. Let's see here. Yale products outside the U.S. are fine. Yeah, I could see that. The U.S. Yale stuff, like this thing, I think we looked at this the other week, or briefly talked about it, or I said something about throwing it in the trash. I can't remember which. Probably all of the above. And especially the Yale electronic locks. There's the Yale Nest that's out there, and we've replaced several of those just since I've been working at the shop since July. They're crap. I mean, there's just no other way to describe it. Yale padlocks, Brian. I don't know. I've not worked on any Yale padlocks since becoming a locksmith, so I couldn't say anything about the newer Yale padlocks. Older ones, yeah. I mean, older Yale anything is pretty good. Let's see. James Randolph, good morning. So, all right. So we've got a lot to cover. Let me get the camera set correctly, because I have a demonstration stand. It's pretty cool. Thank you to my boss for letting me borrow this display and this one as well, and for also letting me borrow this encode, which we're going to look at. And we're going to talk about the differences between the encode and the Schlage Sense. The Sense is what I actually have on my house. Both of these locks generally work the same. The mechanics are probably similar, at least. The outside appearance, I mean, you can see... Whoops. You can't see with the camera doing that. That's the keypad for the Sense, and that's the keypad for the encode. So you can see they're very similar in appearance. End user is also very similar, but they have different technologies in them, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about installing one. I'm actually going to install this one. This is the one off my front door, and don't worry, my front door is locked while doing this. I've got a crazy ex out there, so you never know. But we're going to look at some of the, the ease of installation, because these are pretty easy to install. And talk about some concerns when installing them, some stuff to look for with the door itself, the door and the jamb frame of the door, and just some other stuff. But we're really going to get into it. So hope y'all will stay tuned. Let's see here. Dana, yes, I do have an awesome boss. I do. He's not going to be on here today because he's out of town today. But his wife might be watching, so Mrs. Boss might be watching. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Dave Addion, good morning. All right, let me get the camera turned around. And because I want to be able to see everything. I want y'all to be able to see everything. Sorry, I didn't have much time to prepare this morning. Because I worked the other job last night. First time in a while I've worked it. There's that. Hopefully that's enough light. We can see. So what I'm going to do is start off with putting the Schlage Sense onto the display stand. That way y'all can see kind of how it works. Yes, there's a multi-lock deadbolt in the bottom of this. That is a keyport key. If you're not familiar with keyport, you can Google it, but it's they're pretty cool. I don't have one. Don't really see the need in having one myself, but they're still pretty cool. All right, so with any deadbolt, the first thing is to let's see. You got to remember which way the handing is, because I already have this handed, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. Let's do this. There we go. Is that a better view for y'all? So the first thing with installing any lock is to put the deadbolt in there. I'm going to install this just as it is on my front door. Hinges standing on the outside, hinges are on the left-hand side, swings in. One feature that I will talk about later is the fact that you can swap out the cylinders in these, and we're actually going to do that. We'll take this one back apart and do the cylinder if I remember to. But right now we're going to install it. And the way that these come from the factory, you can see on the tailpiece here, there's a little bump right there where my fingertip is. That bump needs to be facing up. And that has to do with making sure that the timing of the deadbolt is correct. And you can see here in the bolt itself, there's a little notch right there on that side, and the tailpiece has to go through with that bump facing up. So we feed the wire in under the bolt, like so. Bring you guys down just a hair there. There we go. Is that all right? So feed the wire in under the bolt, slide the tailpiece into the bolt, and it kind of snaps in, holds itself in place. They do come with the little Schlage plastic shrouding that will, like these little things right here, they're plastic. They kind of help snap it in place to hold it while you're installing, which is nice. So we put the outside face on, and then this is the inside unit. And it is pretty big on the Sense. And the Connect is also similar in body style. So, and the footprint's pretty big. We'll look at that in a minute. But this and the Encode both go on in about the same way. So what you want to do next is connect the wire. There's a little connector in there. Connect the wire in. Plug it in. And then there's a channel for the wire to run down. So you just run it down there. And then you just simply line up on the back of the bolt. This is for the thumb turn. You're going to line that up with the tailpiece. No, excuse me. I have skipped an entire step. Take that off. This is first, or this is next. Run the wire through the bottom of the plate. Like so. And then we're going to take our through bolts. These are regular deadbolt through bolts. Just getting ahead of myself there. And I just start them by hand. And whenever you do these, I've found it both with the Sense and the Encode. Whenever you're tightening these bolts, and even with other Schlage deadbolts, whenever you tighten these through bolts, they should go in easy. If they're not, then you might be out of line or kind of crooked on one side or the other. So just kind of, wiggle it back and forth like that, both on the front and the back, until the pressure on those bolts kind of eases up and they go in easily. Also make sure that you're not cross-threaded. And you can see I've got that one down, but I don't have it snugged all the way. And they're starting to get a little bit of resistance on the bolt, but you just kind of wiggle it around a little bit. Just get it in there, and then check the inside plate to make sure that it is square with the door. Check the outside keypad, make sure it is square with the door. And then we'll take our screwdriver, tighten it down. And you do want to do this by hand. You notice I'm not using my impact driver. Let's see. Good morning, Gumby. I see you got out of bed. You made it. I did not make chocolate croissants this morning. Sorry. That was a ruse to get you out of bed early. Let's see. Night Owl, thank you for posting the link for Keyport. G Keyman, good morning. All right, so we've got the outside face on, the inside plate is mounted as well. Now is when we connect the wire to the inside. You can see that little connector there. Just plug the wire in, run that down the bottom of the channel, and then you just slide the inside plate on. And it kind of sits there. There's a small screw that goes up here. This is, I believe this is just on the sense and connect. It's not on the encode. The encode has two different mounting screws. That just kind of keeps it pinned up at the top so that you can take this screw and you put it in through here. And it goes through to really secure the inside body to that plate. And just get it snug. You can... Don't test your function if you haven't set it up yet. The batteries, that's the battery pack for this one, for the Sense. Simply drop it up top, take your connector, plug it in. You can see it lit up there. And on the outside we have we put in the wrong code because that's not the code for it, of course. And then you have your inside cover, and it slides down just like that. So it really is that easy to install these on the doors. It takes I did this in 5 minutes, 7 minutes maybe. So it doesn't take that long. Where you need to look at as far as being, a locksmith installing these, or even if you're doing it yourself, make sure that your strike on the jamb, make sure that that's in good shape. In other words, you can smoothly extend and retract the bolt. And we're going to talk about the bolt right here, but you can just make sure that that's aligned so that you don't have a whole lot of resistance on it, because I believe that that will run down the motor in these. It will cause it to fail eventually, and you don't really want that, because if that fails at the wrong time, then you could be on the wrong side of the door. But anyway, that's how easy it is. We're going to talk more about installation concerns a little bit later. Let's see here. Chat's going. Let's see. Yes, Night Owl, that's a multi-lock blade for the Keyport slide series. We can get pizza later. Jason got the toast truck. Lux New York, good morning, sir. I watched several of your videos this week on lunch, and those are really awesome videos. I like them. Really good stuff. In fact, I watched the one where you did a exit device panic bar, where you had to fix it. I watched that yesterday while I was eating lunch, just before I went and put an exit device on the door. So, kind of pumped me up and got me in the mood to deal with it, because I really didn't want to deal with it. Let's see here. Miko, we'll get into using the smartphone to lock and unlock it. Let's see here. Didn't see him hit anything with the screwdriver. It's probably going to fall right off. It'll hold. It's been holding on my front door. So that's the Schlage Sense. And like I said, I've got the Sense. I do actually have some Sense, but I have the Schlage Sense and the Schlage Encode as well. And to talk about the difference between the two of them, because they do look very similar. They operate the same. You can hit the lock button, it'll lock. On the Sense, you can hit the Schlage button, and it locks. Now, notice the sound difference. The Sense is a lot louder than the Encode. And that's one of the cons of it. We'll look at that a little bit later, too. I know I keep saying we're going to look at stuff later. So please don't let me forget. Or at least try to help me remember, because there's a lot to cover with it. So the two biggest differences between the two of these locks is the Encode is marketed as top of the line because it is straight Wi-Fi. It connects to your Wi-Fi network, and you don't have to have a hub or a controller or anything like that to access it. Just Wi-Fi in the location where it's being used. The Sense and Connect, you have to have some sort of hub. The Sense is, the reason why I use it, it is Apple HomeKit, which means it uses Bluetooth to connect to your hub, and I use an iPad as my hub. You can see that. All the notifications that I got from locking and unlocking this. You get a notification when you unlock it with the thumb turn. Get a notification when you lock it with the thumb turn. And yes, this is on my living room front door. This lock is, so that's why we're getting all those notifications. I've not set this up because I want to show you how that works. With the Encode, once you get it set up and powered up, the biggest thing is to do you won't have to do the factory reset. The biggest thing is when you get it installed, you have to go through the initial setup. And I'm going to show you what that is after I factory reset this again. So this is resetting. All right, so this is reset. So what we do is when you take this brand new out of the box and install it, and the same is true for the Sense and the Connect as well. You put it on for the first time, power it up, and you notice on the sticker here you have your programming code and then two factory default user codes. So one of these is 1403. What you do is before you close the door, you've got it put on the door, got it powered up. First thing you do is put in one of those factory codes. And it locks and retracts. It runs the motor a few times, and that's how it figures out what side of the door it's on. So this one, it knows that the hinges are on this side, and the bolt is on this side. Just kind of learns that. So it's pretty cool. The next thing that you would do, and Schlage encourages that you use the app to program these. So I'm going to pull up the Schlage app on my iPad. All right, that's kind of what it looks like there. Sorry about the glare from the light. We're going to add a lock, and we're going to do the encode. So we'll hit the encode, sign in to my Schlage account. Hold on just a moment. Trying to remember. Let's see if that does it. Nope. See if I saved it. Should have this saved in here. I sure don't. Maybe I mistyped it. Nope, I did not mistype it. Ooh, I don't think I have one. Because I set everything up with my Homekit, Apple Homekit, for when I set up this app. Let's do... Sorry, guys. All right. No, I never, it's not that I forgot it. I just, I didn't use that because there is a different, there's a different way to set it up with the Sense, because you sign in through your Apple. And this is not the one that I want either. It's not the right account. Yeah, admin. Password is password. Now, let's do it this way. Well, shit. The video may freeze for just a second, folks. All right, guys, I think I'm back. No, I didn't need to reset the Wi-Fi password. I just had to switch apps on my phone, which is also my camera. Let's see. Now, I signed in to the account. It's trying to find the locks. Let's do this, encode. Yes, lock is installed. Locate the programming code in the user guide. Programming code is also this code right here on the back of the lock. So we'll hit continue. Access the camera. Scan the QR code. There we go. Press and release the button shown. So pressed and released it. All right. Please wait while your device and lock complete the pairing process. Could take up to 30 seconds. All right. It'll beep. So I'm going to connect it to Wi-Fi. And I will select my Wi-Fi. And I do remember the password to this. All right. Yes, that is the name of my Wi-Fi. I'm not sharing either. All right, so we heard the lock beep, and it's connected to the network. So location name, we're going to give it shop demo. Access code, now this is important. Once you connect the lock to the Schlage app, the default codes on this lock will no longer work. Also, whenever you give the access code, it says 4 to 8 digits. Whatever length you choose for that will be the length that any future codes have to be. So if you choose a 6-digit access code for yourself, then all codes that you make in the future will have to be that same length. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is going to be demo and finish. And it programs it. Open your door slightly, just like in the picture. Hit I'm ready, and it will configure. Open, there we go. Success, your lock has been configured for your door. You can close it now. So how do you unlock it? You can do that, and it will unlock. Or you can go here to your Schlage app. There's front door. It is locked because, well, the side door is unreachable because I'm all the way out here, and it's a Sense, so it connects through Bluetooth. So I'm out of Bluetooth range. Shop demo is unlocked, right? So you pull this app up on your phone, your iPad, and you can do that, and it locks. I mean, is that not cool? And then you can tap your history, and it will show you everybody who has done this. That's really, really cool. So you have an audit trail. Let's see. No idea how many people. It's the same. Yes, SC lock and key. The same code as my luggage, too. I need to change it. Good morning, sir. Let's see. Fred Flintstoner, good morning. All right, so that's pretty simple to do that. And then you can always go in and you can add more people. So you want to give, let's say you want to give somebody's coming over to walk your dog. So you can do dog walker. Their code is going to be 654321. Notify me when code is used. Shoot. Schedule. This is really cool here. Schedule. You tap that. You can do recurring or temporary. So temporary would mean that you can set it to only be good between certain dates and times. Recurring, you can do a schedule. We're just going to do Saturdays between, what time is it now? 10:37. So between 10:39 and 10:45. There we go. That's our schedule. And then save. And it's not 10:39 yet. Hopefully this will save before it does. Okay. There we go. So we did 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Won't let me in. So now we're going to wait a minute. And I can look at the chat. Let's see here. See. Yeah, Gumby, you can. You are absolutely right that you can open the lock from anywhere. That's one thing that I like, because the other morning, the other week, I took the trash out, and I was in a hurry, carrying trash out from the house on the way out the door to work. Rolled the trash can down to the end of the driveway, got in the car, went to work. Was at the shop for probably 30 minutes, and I said, did I lock my front door? And I pulled up the app, and sure enough, it was still unlocked, or front door, side door, whichever it was. Anyway, I left the door unlocked, and it was really nice being able to unlock it. All right, so it's 10:39 now. So now we're going to try our dog walker's code, and it works. It's pretty cool. And again, you can go through and look at the history, and you can see who did what when. Some options of the lock that you can do. You can pull up the settings. You can do the alarm mode, which with the encode is only it's only when forced entry detected. Let's see, you can do, and it has to save after every time, even if you don't make changes. Auto lock delay, you can turn that off, or you can make it to where it will lock automatically after, let's say, a minute. Let's try that. I have it turned off on mine, but it wouldn't be that bad of an idea in some situations. One-touch locking, if you turn that off, then you have to enter the code to lock and unlock it. You can't just press that button or the Schlage button on the Sense. It will require you to put in your full access code. Let's see, key press beep, you can turn that on or off. Wi-Fi settings, that's just for your network that you have it on, the name of the lock, notification settings, notify me when door is locked, when door is unlocked. Firmware settings. Schlage does update their firmware on these quite often. So you may, every once in a while may want to try that. Look at that. Let's see. I think I set the auto lock delay to 1 minute or so. Let's look. Yeah, Jason, I had to buy a duffel bag the other week when I went to Raleigh for the training for the Locksmith Association meeting down there, because all of my old ones had either just been tore up or ruined, but I really haven't used them in so long. Yeah. Anthony, if someone picks it, then, or let's say, uses the key, like with this one right here, I have the key for this cylinder, put it in, and you get a notification right away that it was unlocked. So obviously, picking it would do the same thing. So you would at least get a notification. It doesn't know the difference between picking and using the key. But yes, you do get a notification. Yeah, and forced entry detected is when it hears, when it senses that the door's being like really forced. With the sense, you can turn on, let's see, let's pull up the app again. Side door, front door, there we go, settings, alarm mode, beep when door is open or closed. You can set the sensitivity to that. That is not a feature that's on the encode. It's only on the sense. Now saving that to the lock, done, and you can see there it's very sensitive. So whenever the door moves or is unlocked, you get that beep. You know, some people might like that, especially if you have it like on an office setting. You can have it open. Now let me pull up, because I use this. The reason why I went with the sense instead of the encode is because the sense is Apple HomeKit ready, and I use Apple. So there you can see kind of what's going on. It says no response from the laundry room side door. That's because I'm out of range of it. The front door or living room front door, that's this lock right here, is here. All you do is tap it, or you can do this. Siri, lock my front door. I mean, is that not cool? Or Siri, unlock my front door. There you go. That's pretty freaking badass. I mean, really, it is. And yes, that open close alert is annoying. So I'm going to change that. Enforced entry detected. Saving. So there's a lot that you can do with it. The encode does not connect to through Siri. So it doesn't connect through Alexa or Hey Google or any of those either. I don't have any of those, but it is just straight Wi-Fi. So you have to open up the app to make it work. I like things connected through Apple, so I can use Siri. I don't have, really don't have any other HomeKit accessories. Let's see. Let's look at the chat here to see what we've got. Yeah, Fred, I remember you mentioning a while back that you've been thinking about one of these. And I'm going to tell you how to decide between the two here in just a second. I'm leading up to that. Can you set it to alarm and still unlock by using a special code as if someone is forcing you to open the door? No, not that I have found, Rune. Although that would be really cool. With Siri, you can set up shortcuts to where you can do kind of like a Mayday shortcut that I've found. I actually had it set up and played with it a little bit. But if you tell Siri something like, hey Siri, Mayday, it'll run through a shortcut and send out text messages to people with your location and a prearranged message saying, help me, I'm in trouble, I'm at this location. you can also integrate that into your HomeKit stuff, so that maybe if you're outside and your Crazy Ex shows up in the driveway, you can just say, "Hey Siri, lock down the house," and it'll lock everything, lock all your locks, provided they're connected to Siri, and it'll take care of that for you. But that is actually a really, really good idea, and I'm going to borrow that idea and ask our Schlage rep, just to see if there is a product available here in the U.S. that can do that. I'm sure there is. I'm just not sure if there is. I don't think there is in the residential market. But let's see. Anthony, if is forced entry just detected just vibration, then yeah, I think that's what it is. I would love to have one. Actually, the Schlage electronic that we looked at probably a couple months ago that the motor had burned out in, that was actually a sense. So what I may do, because the motor's burned up in it, what I may do is connect that, and then see kind of what happens. Like maybe do some testing since the motor doesn't work. On the Yale version, see you, Brian. On the Yale versions, forced entry sounds when you peel the front off the door. And that might be something to do with these two. I'm not willing to destroy an expensive lock to find out. But that may be the case where if you either kick the door or do something to bend the bolts, it may set that off. Even dumb locks make a noise when there is forced entry. Yes, they do. Did everyone get that voice recorded? GQ Man, Gumby, and Fred. Y'all, that is great, because if you connect it to Siri, I don't know about anybody else here with an iPhone, but I have my iPhone set to where it won't do most things by Siri voice command unless if I have it unlocked. So, I have the iPhone 11, so it does Face ID to unlock it. And I've got mine set up to where you actually have to look at the screen to unlock it. You can't just show it your face and it'll unlock. I think that's kind of stupid that it can do that. But anyway, so yeah, mine, let's see. Well, I don't have my iPad set up. Actually, I don't have my Pinky in here. This is the older iPad Air 2, so it does Touch ID. Let me try this. Hey Siri, unlock my front door.
You'll need to unlock your iPad first.
See? Won't let me do it without unlocking it. So that is a good security measure. And you can limit in HomeKit who has access to that. So you can share it with other people. If you have other people on Apple in your house, you can share the HomeKit functions with them. It's just me, so I've not played with that. Dennis, good morning. Let's see. Okay. All right. So, get a drink. Did she not just say it is already unlocked? No. Rune, Siri said you'll need to unlock your iPad first. Let me see here. Yeah, volume. This case kind of muffles it, but hey Siri, unlock my front door.
You'll need to unlock your iPad first.
Yeah. So she won't do it without it unlocked. All right, so that's all the cool stuff. Well, all the cool stuff I can think of right now. You notice you can switch out cylinders, which I may do. Well, we're running towards the end of the hour, so I probably won't switch it out. It's very simple. You just remove the cylinder screw from the back. Like you'll take the faceplate off, take it off the door, back the screw out that holds the cylinder into the lock, replace it with whatever cylinder you need. Mine, since I use C123 or Everest cylinders, you got to have the lazy cam tailpiece. This lock right here that used to be on the shop that isn't anymore. I think my front light just died. There we go. You can see that's a Medico cylinder in here. So it will hold 6-pin lever cylinders. So those are all the cool things. Let's talk about the uncool things. First thing that's going to detract you about these locks. The Schlage Sense is about 200-ish, 220-ish US dollars. The Schlage encode is about 250. That's a lot of money. The reason why I don't use the encode is, like I've said, I prefer the Apple products. So if you're trying to decide which one, Fred has been thinking about it, you really have to look and see what technology you're using in your house. So if you have all Android people, you might want the encode because the encode will just work Wi-Fi. If you use stuff like Alexa or Hey Google or anything that works on Z-Wave, then the Schlage Connect, which is the Z-Wave version of this lock, that would be good if you use that. If you have people, mixed between Apple and Android in the same location, I would definitely go with the encode. If you're all Apple or all, whatever, Alexa, Hey Google, then I would do either the Sense for Apple or the Connect for the other stuff. The other drawbacks are the footprint. You can see, that's the size of the encode. That's the size of the Sense and the Connect. So that's a pretty big size difference. And you've heard the noise difference, but that's the Sense. That's the encode. Much quieter. The noise doesn't really bother me, but, another thing that you need to look at is the bolts. The deadbolts on these, actually, I think I may have mentioned it earlier, but they're actually tapered. Sorry about hitting the camera. They're tapered so that if your strike, the mortise for your strike on your frame is not perfect, it'll help pull the door in to where it needs to be, and kind of, it'll avoid the problem of having the bolt strike directly on the frame and then saying, oops, no, I can't lock, and then retracting. It'll help with that. You still need to make sure that your strike is aligned correctly. If you need to adjust your door, if you need to adjust the strike, then, do that, because it should be literally that easy to lock and unlock from the inside. So all you should do is just shut your door and do that and have no resistance. I had my first job of the day yesterday was being a doorsmith. I fixed, the lady called and she said that she had 3 locks that weren't really working well, and she wanted somebody to come out and look and see if she needed to replace them or if they could be fixed. Well, it turns out all the locks were fine. It was the doors that were the problem. And, locksmiths out there, will tell you, Rune, Night Owl, Locks New York, everybody else here will tell you that 90% of the time when you get a call that a lock isn't working, it's the door, not the lock. So make sure that your door's lined up. I know Jason doesn't really care for electronic deadbolts because of where he is. And I know they have Yazoo clay down there, and the houses and buildings settle and kind of shift around all the time, and the frames kind of warp and stuff. I think you can still probably keep up with it. I definitely wouldn't trust any of the quickset deadbolts, just because what I've seen of those, they're just so cheaply made that I wouldn't trust it. Wouldn't trust it to work. Sorry. Wow. That was a really close-up view of me there. So I would go with, I like the Schlage. I know the Schlage. I know how it works. I know how it's set up. But, it is kind of what your preference is. But a lot of times customers really want these. The encodes, we're actually having we're actually kind of having issues keeping them in stock because we sell so many of them that we'll order like 10 or 12 a week sometimes. We've kind of slowed down over the last couple weeks, but here leading up to the last couple weeks, we've been selling at least 3 or 4 a week. Some jobs where it is 3 or 4 on just one job for one customer. The other difference between the Sense and the Encode, the Sense can do up to 30 combinations, 30 different people with codes stored in it. The Encode can do up to 100. So if you want electronic access to, say you have a building for your business, like a little storage area building or whatever, you've got Wi-Fi there, you can program in all of your codes. These locks do work without Wi-Fi, without internet connection. They still retain the user codes and permissions with those user codes, but you can't do the remote status monitoring and lock and unlock. Let's see here. Let's go back up through the chat. I cannot unlock an unlocked door. Okay, James. Yeah, I don't know anything about Android other than I can't use it. Litter picker. Siri refused to let you out of the house because she loves you and can't stand to see you leave. Yeah, Logs New York, sometimes, yeah, the F-Series is just as cheap. We actually don't make a lot of money on the encodes because we sell them at the same price that you buy them at Lowe's Hardware for. But people call us up and say, hey, that's what I want. Or they'll walk into the shop and, we've got a display with a bunch of different ones on there. They're like, which one of these do I want? I want top of the line. And we tell them the encode. The encode is top of the line as far as, footprint, features, styles. And these come in different finishes and trim, so it's not always the ornate type, This is the, what is that, the Camelot trim, 622, or, no, not 622, it's the, help me out, the finish. The nickel finish. Anyway, the one on the side door of my house is 622, matte black. but it's in a square style. But yeah, a lot of times you can buy stuff, at the same price at other places. Let's see here. Yeah, Fred, it is a lot of money. The cool thing is, with your kids, you can set it up to where you get an alert when they get home from school so that they've gotten in the door. If you turn off the one-touch locking, even not just for your kids, that may sound like a bit much for your kids, but if you have it on a business and you turn off the one-touch locking, then you can force the last person out to use their code to lock the door, so you can tell who locked the door behind them, which is pretty cool. Or, again, if your kid says, hey, I'm going down the street to my friend's house, and they walk, they're gone, and you look at your app, they didn't lock the front door, you can lock the front door. They've got a code they can get back in. Or they can call you and say, hey, let me in, Dad. Is the convenience and being able to know, yes, my front door is locked. Let's see. What's Apple? Anything like there? Let's see. Miko Wolf, how long do the batteries last? The batteries, from what I've been seeing, this one, the encode that was on the back door of the shop, according to the boss, these batteries that are in here are over a year old, and that was used by multiple people multiple times a day. So, that kind of tells you something. And you can check the battery status through the app as well. But they last a while. Locks and why? Yes. Door repair before lock repair. I like that. That should be a bumper sticker or something. T-shirt. Yeah, Night Owl, there is a lot of trouble with strike alignment. The house that I worked on yesterday, like I said, the latches wouldn't even latch. That's how far out of whack everything was. And I adjusted the hinges, still had to cut out in the latches to move them up and down a little bit, or down mostly, and move them forward to where it would pull the door shut. But yeah, their garage door the deadbolt wouldn't bolt, the latch wouldn't latch. The front door was the same way, wouldn't even stay shut. They would have to yank up on the door and push in and then crank the deadbolt into place at night. And when I left, they could push it and turn. And she was very happy with that. So I'm glad I was able to help that. I can tell you the Yales will last 3 months longer than their warranty. And then you will drill it if you didn't get the key bypassed out. Yep, that's about it. Yeah, and strike alignment, my house got done settling probably 20 years ago. My house was built in 1950. But I still have to deal with it because you've got the weather changes, expansion and contraction. I had to adjust the strikes a couple times this past year. Earlier this spring, just to keep from having to push on the door to, throw the deadbolt. Pocket Women, good morning. We're kind of getting near the end here, but I'm running a little low. We got 22 people watching. Awesome. Let's see. I'm still scrolling down through the chat here. If they want top of the line, they need to get locks from Europe. Yeah, Rune, y'all do it. Y'all do it right over there. What, in your neck of the woods, what is an electronic deadbolt that will connect with Apple HomeKit. Is there one that's marketed over there by somebody? I'm sure there is. I'd just be interested in hearing about it. Fred, if you were nearby, I'd say come by the shop, and we'll get you hooked right up. Yeah, because I think you've said that you use Android before, so I would go with the encode. I mean, it's about $250. I know you can put it on. It's easy enough. Like I said, you can use whatever lever cylinder you want to. This is the stock Schlage cylinder that comes with these. They're not always easy to pick. They're not always hard, but standing at a front door trying to pick a lock open is more difficult than what you might think. Let's see here. If the dumb person in question is about 30 years old today, try codes like 1990, 91, 92. Yep. Anthony, do you get a lot of businesses wanting to use these? Yes. I've done these on at least half a dozen different businesses that I can remember. One of them had just one door. One of them had 3 doors. One of them was in kind of a commercial building. I don't want to say storage building, but it's like, instead of offices, it's individual like warehouse space, storage space. If that kind of makes sense, if you know what I'm talking about. Business park locations. And they had 3 doors, had Wi-Fi connected to all of them. And I went through the whole spiel with them about using, the one-touch lock and unlock, or the one-touch lock, and giving all the employees codes. That way they could track, who was coming and going. Let's see. Gumby, if Wi-Fi is down, I believe it does store the audit trail. I'm 99% sure. I will... How will I test that? Since my iPad is the hub... Ugh. That was nasty. Since my iPad is my HomeKit hub, and it's out here and it's not connected to my side door, I will go, after we get done here, I will go and punch in the code a few times, see if it pops up, see if I can pull that in the audit history. Let's see here. Let's see. Back when I was just a lowly cop. Yeah, I was a cop last night. That's why I was kind of behind this morning. Night Owl, my house was built in the 1860s. It hasn't finished settling. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends on your house, your structure. The house that I did all those doors in yesterday was built in 2006, I think, 2007, something like that, maybe. Let's see. S. Roberts. I figured you wouldn't have been busy at work. By being busy, you mean you've been eating trail mix and napping? Let's see here. Fred, I will, like I put in the description for this video, if there's enough interest, I will do a standalone video on each of these. That way I can I'll structure it, and I'll do one on the connect, one on the encode, and then one comparing each against the other. I think I'll do that. I'll have to do it today because I want my scents back on my front door. Pocket Women, that's weird that you haven't gotten the notification. Good selling there. I'm not a salesman. I tell people what I know and let them make decisions. Let's see. All right. Yep. As long as the weather changes during the year, strikes need adjusting. Yeah. S. Roberts, cleaning the shop. Yeah. Well, when you get done, you know where this shop is. You can come by and help me clean it. Let's see here. Yeah. Have any of you guys been in one of the newer houses, and it's like the wood is soaked with some sort of epoxy or something, or at least the doors, like when you drill into the door, it like gums up your drill bit really bad because it like melts all the epoxy shit in there. That sucks. That gums up your drill bit and like runs it down really quickly. Yeah, I feel bad for you guys up in New York right now, because I'm pretty sure it's a lot colder up there now than it is down here. It was like 77, 78 degrees here yesterday. We broke a record for the warmest temperature in December, like 15, 20 years, something like that. But anyhow, Torch, you did make it just in time. Made it just in time for me to say we're winding up. So, anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all showing up today. Appreciate the chat. I know I probably missed some more in the chat, but I really appreciate it. I will, I believe, do videos on both of these just to cover them standalone videos, and I will put them up hopefully this weekend. I'll record them today. Well, I'll record them today and then upload them throughout the week, so we can talk about them then. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll leave the chat up for a little bit, but holy crap, 35 degrees there, Dana. Wow. It's 64 degrees here in the shop and probably about 50-ish outside. We're supposed to get up to about 70 today. Not as warm as yesterday, but still nice. 34 in New York. Wow. Yeah. 39 in Michigan. Whew. Nope. All right, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll leave the chat up for a little bit. I know Jason's going live in about 45 minutes, so people will have a break between... Holy shit, Fred. 26 degrees out. No. Nope. Ain't going there. Ain't doing it. Too cold. 0 degrees. Rune. Nope. 46 where you are in New York City. Okay. Yeah, no. I'm wearing shorts today. So, yeah. Alrighty, folks. Y'all, have a great day. Stay safe. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Stay out of trouble. We'll see you next time.